Welcome to Better Sex, where you get the information and inspiration to create and enjoy your best possible sex life. Join your host, sex therapist Jessa Zimmerman, as she brings you expert guests, helpful tips, knowledge, and strategies to improve your intimate relationships. And now, your host, Jessa Zimmerman.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jessa, and I'm so happy you're here for this episode of Better Sex. I've dedicated my professional life to helping couples enjoy a fulfilling, intimate life. I believe that sex is important. Our connections to other people matter, and we're not living our life to the fullest if we aren't connecting emotionally and sexually with our partner. That's why I'm here, bringing ideas and information to help you live and love better. One of the things I realize when I work with clients in sex therapy is that for a lot of people, sex is heavy. It's stressful and it's pressured and it's loaded with a sense of, almost inadequacy or failure or risk. And, this again is coming from people that are struggling enough that they're coming into therapy about it. But there's not a lot in our culture that supports sex as playful, and light and fun, while at the same time serious, without making it flippant or diminishing its meaning or some of the raunchy stuff that we see or pornography or titillation. There's sort of not a middle ground where sex is about pleasure and joy and connection and it's easy and light and fun. And there aren't many places in our culture that support that conversation and that really honor and celebrate that about sex. So I wanted to do an episode that drew on that theme a little bit. And I found the perfect person to interview today because she's created a shop in her hometown in a little cabin where it's filled with laughter. It's full of all kinds of sexual props and information and products and supplies. But the main thing she provides is laughter and fun and freedom and permission. And it sounds like just a beautiful embodiment of the way I'd love for people to be able to think about sex in general. So my guest today is Beth Liebling, and she was a divorce lawyer. And as you're going to hear, she had to leave that because she doesn't like to fight. And once you hear from her, you're going to see that that's absolutely true. So she left that, and after her own divorce and her own self-discovery of her beauty and sexiness and passion around sex again, she was drawn to start the shop, the shop that she wished existed. So she's created this beautiful place called the Darling Way that's created an atmosphere and an environment that's welcoming and playful and free and open and just invites her customers into an experience there where they can celebrate sex and sexuality. I'm delighted to have her on the show today. So Beth, thank you so much for being here on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's absolutely my pleasure.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this conversation. Could you start by just telling just a little bit about your story and how you came to open Darling Way?
Yeah, it's a kind of a strange story, right? I was a board-certified divorce lawyer with 5 children. And I'm a divorce lawyer who doesn't like to fight. So I had to get out of it because it was just sad. I wanted to help people, but it was just so sad all the time. I couldn't do it. And then when I got divorced myself after 22 years of marriage, I needed to figure out how to find my romantic self again. I didn't know. I didn't feel lovable. I didn't feel attractive. I had no idea how to date. And I wanted to go shop at a place that didn't exist. And so I created it and call it Darling Way. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So what did you see? Like what need was not met? What was the shop that didn't exist?
Well, in our society, we think of sex in either two ways. One as this very, very, very serious and secretive, something that we don't really talk about, or as this completely raunchy topic that is not meaningful or important. It's trivial and it's something for young people. As a 44-year-old woman, I wanted to find lingerie that made me feel pretty. Forgetting anybody else even seeing it, I needed to feel pretty because I didn't feel pretty, and it makes a big difference. Going into one of the mall places, they look at me like what are you doing here? You're old. You don't need to be romantic. You don't need to be thinking about sexy. That's crazy. And I didn't want to try to look like I was 20 something. I wanted to appreciate who I am, this middle-aged woman who still has hopes of finding really love ever after and sexy fun and excitement and romance. And that's what was missing. There was no place to do it. And to talk about personal lubricants of all things, right? It's just, things are different. And so at Darling Way, we talk, we laugh, we play dress up, and it's okay to just be silly and fun and excited about these sexy things that nobody else wants to talk about openly.
Yeah, and serious is what I'm hearing you say too. It's not just flippant or tittillating or red lace. I'm thinking about some of the sex shops I've seen, and we have some pretty good ones actually in Seattle, but some of them are stuff it's like a Halloween costume or something, right? Not a serious way of being erotic or sexy or sexual.
Yeah, exactly. It feels like maybe you're putting on a costume. You're not actually yourself. You're trying to be somebody else. And that's why I actually don't think, and I don't call Darling Way a sex shop, because sex may be part of a way that we connect and that we love, but it's not the primary way at Darling Way. It is, I say people need to love themselves first. Then if they choose, they can love somebody else. But we start there with what it feels like to you in this place of empowerment, of joy. And, but I do it in what I like to describe as a lighthearted approach to a serious topic.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do. I actually take it very seriously. I think sexual intimacy it makes me smile. It makes me grin. It lights up my face, because that's the way I think it should be for everybody.
Right.
It's absolutely the best joy that we get in the world.
I mean, it should be, right? Like I think of it's our birthright, or it's something we should have. I, of course, as a sex therapist, I work with people all the time who are struggling with that, right? Where sex is not joyful, and it's so, it's heartbreaking when they're in that stage. So.
Right. And part of what you do, I think, overlaps my mission so much, because I try and explain to people that you can have a lot of sexy fun and intimacy without having, penis, vagina penetration.
Right. Right.
That's just one part of it. And if we throw that out, we have so many other ways to do and to connect with people. And sometimes focusing on those makes the penis, vagina intercourse a little bit easier. But if it is, fine. If not, I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you have at the shop? Like what kinds of offerings? It sounds like you at least have some beautiful lingerie for older women, but
Right.
What else do you offer? What goes on there?
So we have everything fun, flirty, frisky, and even fetish. So I have high-end lingerie from France. I have inexpensive lingerie that I tell people, play with food, rip off somebody's body, right? Just enjoy, use, and whatever. I have lingerie, thigh-high stockings and bras that you can wear under at your most professional business meetings to give you that power sense. Then I have lotions and potions, lubricants, massage oils, candles, scents, pheromone sprays, stimulating creams and gels, all the way to vibrators, to all sorts of leather goods, handcuffs, floggers, whips, chains. I don't care. Anything that people can use to have sexy fun, we try and carry it.
Okay.
So many different ways that we can play and laugh. And so people come into the shop, and one 52-year-old guy who thought he knew everything, he said, I thought I knew about sex until I came into Beth's shop.
I knew this wall, but not that wall,
Exactly. But we put it all out there. It's a bright colored, it's a cottage in a residential area. I have a tandem bicycle out front because I think that's romantic. And so people come in, I just tell them, just laugh, because it is fun. It is silly. And what turns me on is silly to you, or what turns you on is silly to me. And that's the joy when we laugh together about it.
So it sounds like, do you have educational programming at the store? Like it sounds like this, your staff is involved like you are?
Yeah, well, my staff is two of them, my oldest son and my daughter-in-law work with me full time. Right?
Wow.
And it's really interesting. So we talk a lot at the shop. I used to be a lawyer. I love to talk. So we do workshops all the time on different things. We're doing a series right now that's so popular, I'm surprised, on oral sex. I say blowing his mind while loving his body. And because so many women have this hesitation for whatever reason, whether they grew up with some shame about oral sex or they simply don't know how to do it comfortably or whatnot. And I approach it from the emotional side. And I just think that it's a way to make a man feel like a king. And that they should really, when we start with that approach, it's so easy and so much fun that everybody, if you love someone, you should be loving their whole body. And that's what we do. But then we'll also have a professional dominatrix come in next month and teach a class on flogging fun for nice people. Because
I love your titles.
I take words as seriously as I take love and sex. It's amazing.
Right.
But so many people think that flogging or BDSM is just about beating somebody, that it's about being mean somehow and something ugly. The fact is it is about sensation. And I have a terrible case of ADHD. If somebody whispers to me, I just completely miss it, right? So in my romantic life, if somebody's just lightly touching me and whispering things, my brain's a million miles away. So it's not a surprise that I need more impact. I need a louder loving in my bedroom, and other people do, but they don't realize it. And I say, so flogging can be very sensuous. It can be very impactful. And we want to open the doors up for people to have these ideas and be able to play as they wish. Maybe one night they want it gentle. One night they want it more impactful, but they don't know how. And we give them ideas.
Yeah, it sounds like such a great environment to go get exposed to this, to see the equipment, to have conversations, and at least entertain the idea. Even if somebody isn't going to end up interested in flogging, they could have considered it, in a way that maybe they never would.
Exactly. She's also going to teach about spanking. And spanking is one of the most popular sort of fantasies for both men and women. And there are lots of reasons for it, that it really is an erotic turn on, partly just because of where the sensations are, where the nerves are, and the things that jiggle when you get spanked. So to open that up and actually talk about the brain reasons, the intellectual reasons why these things appeal and how to do them right and how to enjoy them, how to set it up it's really fun. And it's a safe environment. I have everything from college students in there to octogenarians in the shop. And
I love that.
Yeah, it's so much.
Do you live stream or record any of those? I'm just thinking, unless they're near you, people don't have access to this. It'd be interesting if you had it up on your website or something like that.
And I think we're trying. We've had little bits up, and I always want everything now. I'm very impatient. So we're working on it, but we haven't even been open 2 years yet. And
wow.
Yeah, I know. And so, and in that time, and I knew nothing about retail. So we've opened the shop, we've got the radio show, and I've got a book out, and we haven't quite figured out how to master all of the video stuff yet. But
right. That's a lot for 2 years. So
yeah,
for sure. Is there anything you want to say about what it's like to, for a customer to walk in your shop? Like, what's that experience for, let's say people have never been in a shop like this before. What would they experience?
Well, so first I would tell them that even if they've been in what they think of as a sex shop, there really is nothing like what we're doing and how we do it. But I'll tell you, yesterday, a woman came in. I wasn't there. My daughter-in-law was there, and my daughter-in-law is, all of 30-something years old. So she's young, but a 60-year-old woman came in yesterday and hadn't dated in forever. She's in a brand new romantic relationship. She didn't even know where to start. So I got the call afterwards from my daughter-in-law, and she just was so excited. She said, yeah, I asked her what she wanted her. She said she couldn't even figure that out. So my daughter-in-law said, so I said to her, how about you let me start? And she did. She started her with the lingerie. They just talked about learning to get comfortable with their body. My daughter-in-law told her, just go try things on. And whether you like the piece or not, look at your body in the mirror. Shut off the critical part, but find something you like about your body. Because the more we know what you like, then the more we'll find things that will accent that. And when you like it and you feel beautiful, you'll want people to see it. And you'll believe him when he tells you how beautiful you are.
Yeah.
Right? And from there, they went on. And so you start with the lingerie. Then we talk about, lubrications and stuff. Most Most people don't know there are different kinds of lubes and they're such various qualities and stuff. It's terrible.
Yeah.
So she talked about that. Then she talked about how our bodies are different and how even women need more stimulation to the clitoral stimulation to orgasm. And so sometimes a vibrator can help. She talked to her about how she could talk to her partner about not being afraid of these, but rather to embrace them. We call them romantic props, right? Because you're putting on a romantic show and you just, you can have all the different props. You can have a prop closet, bring out what you want when you want it. And props are there to make the stars shine. So 2 hours later, I think the woman left with, a bag full, a smile on her face, and it's beautiful.
I'm imagining that your customers become, or at least some of them almost become family. Like people must come back and you build relationships with them over time. And
oh yeah, we're all about that. People stop by just to say hi. I tell them, if you don't love yourself, just come in. We'll love you until you learn to love yourself. And when you love yourself, then you can love somebody else if you want. But it's very much a community. It is a house, which is lovely, except, sometimes I'm kind of messy. Sometimes we do Photoshops. They come in and you never know what you're going to find, but it's like you come into my personal house. It is a personal relationship. I preach relationships. That's saying that nothing, it isn't personal. I just don't understand that in the slightest. So,
yeah.
There are family, there are friends, and it's joy.
Hi, it's Jessa here, taking just a quick break. Thanks for listening so far. I wanted to let you know about the sex quiz that I've put together called How Healthy Is Your Sex Life? I've taken a close look at the typical ways that I see couples get into trouble with sex, including avoidance, neglect, negativity, distraction, and boredom. And the free quiz will score your individual results based on these factors. And then I provide my recommendations and ideas, including my top 10 sex tips, which will help you make instant improvement. If you'd like to take the quiz and see how healthy your sex life is, you can do it right now at sexhealthquiz.com. I mean, obviously, you've got a comfort in talking about sex, and your son and his wife do. But how do you make customers comfortable talking about sex? I mean, I suppose they've got some level of comfort if they're going to walk in the door. Like I'm thinking about all the people that drive by and never come in. But you must have a real way of easing people into these conversations.
I think actually, for example, my daughter-in-law grew up in Laredo, Texas, in a Hispanic family. She talked even less about sex than my family did. So it's that we're just open. We are ourselves. We've come to terms with it. We laugh. I still giggle when I talk about stuff. We get excited. We allow people to have their own time and to adjust. We don't force it on them. We don't silence them. Some quote sex shops you go in, you don't want to laugh. You're trying to hold everything in.
Right.
Our place, people are laughing. I say laughing their butts off. It's but it's absolutely true. And that's part of it. So somebody said, we're comfortable being uncomfortable, and we let other people do that. And that's the fact. And that we are as open about ourselves as we want them to be. And it's not that we're distant. It really is just, it's our version of normal. And when you walk in there, our cottage is so warm and inviting just before we even moved a thing in there that people feel good there.
Yeah, and it sounds like you just have such an ambiance right away, that the mood is set, the laughter's there, it must be the way the shop's arranged. Everything just sort of puts people at ease.
Right.
That's easier for them to talk.
Yeah, it's not too fancy. It's pretty, and like I said, it's just completely real, and we get excited, and we're so happy to help people. And we've had couples come in. I had a couple come in on their wedding day.
Oh, wow.
On their wedding day, the woman was in a wedding dress. I burst into tears. I had never met these people before. They heard me on the radio, and the husband planned this, and she didn't know she was coming. She was nervous. And it was just absolutely incredible for me, for them. And that's what happens, right? I'll burst into tears at any time. Somebody will put something on and just feel beautiful, and I'm the one crying, and they're so proud. So, yeah.
So what, I mean, obviously we don't all live in your town, right? Don't get to come to your shop.
No, I
What,
need more shops.
yeah. So, well, okay. That could be in the plan, I'm sure.
Yes.
But what would you say to listeners of this podcast? Like, what should they take away from this conversation, do you think, that they could apply in their life, their relationship, your basic message?
Well, so first of all, I try to make myself available so they can call and I'll do like phone consults and stuff too, and help them sort of personal shopping by phone if there are different things. They can't actually play dress up, but we can do some other things. I think that's valuable. So we take care of our clients no matter where they live or how far or how their products get to them. So that's always it. Otherwise, what they can do is, if they can feel comfortable, even if they're going someplace that's in their city that is more focused on just the orgasm part or something, if they can just take that confidence from me and just to go in and feel free to laugh.
Yeah.
No matter whether anybody else is laughing or not, they should know it's okay. And to not be so afraid of exposing that romantic, that desire for romance and for sexy fun, that's okay. That's the best part of us. And frankly, it's what makes us, it's powerful.
Yeah.
Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich talks about the billionaires back in the 1920s, what they had in common. The only thing they had in common was that they had a very healthy sex drive and they had a good relationship that was fueling that sex drive. So I tell people it's good for our health. It's good for our appearance, makes us look younger. It's everything. And so
we can change the world, right? One sex life at a time. So it sounds like your basic bottom lines are laugh, love yourself first, let go of some of the burdens of expectation,
Yes. And embrace pleasure.
Yeah. Embrace pleasure.
Our society says, oh, don't take vacations, work too hard, don't get enough sleep, do this, torture ourselves. And it's completely the opposite of what we were designed for and what gives our lives meaning.
Yeah.
So do, and find something happy that just makes you laugh. Follow us on social media and you'll see all sorts of silly things and posts and whatnot. And just smile every day.
I'll put all these links up in the show notes too, so people can find the website and the social media links and all of that. So that'll be helpful.
Yeah, thank you. And if they need to pick her up, or just send us a message or something, and we'll send you some love, whatever way it takes, right? I've got so much love.
You obviously do, lots to share, and it's infectious. So I would love for you to have a chance real quick to talk about your book, because you mentioned that you have a new book out. So tell us a little bit about that.
Thank you. It's Love and Laughter, Sexy, Meaningful, Fun for Everyone. And it's the first of my books. I've got several others planned and they'll be following, of course. But this was written for women. And it really is about learning how to get comfortable with our bodies, how to pay attention to our bodies, to enjoy the pleasure that we can get from different ways. And then how to become a good lover, not for somebody else's sake, but for our own sake, and different opportunities that they can have for sexy fun. So we intro to romantic props, what to do with them, things for health, Kegel balls, and how to love a man orally and stuff for your own pleasure. And one of the nicest compliments I got was actually from a man who read it, who said that he thought of it like a sex language translator.
Huh.
Because reading, from my standpoint, and reading the book is like listening to me talk. It just is. If you like me, you'll like the book. If you don't like me, you don't like the book. But he said, but hearing how a female perspective on sex and our bodies and things that we're doing and what we might be thinking helps him talk to his wife better. And that I really liked. So I would suggest to men, it really is a good idea, because so often, men and women, we're two different planets. We're talking about, we use the word sex, but we're meaning completely different things.
Right. And there's not a lot of great places to go to even learn about sex.
No.
That either isn't super clinical or sort of super racy, pornography or something like that. So it's nice to have that middle ground.
Right. And to have some permission, if you will, to explore. And so, for example, almost everybody is going to have some sort of crazy, sexy fantasy in their head that they're going to be a little bit embarrassed about. When I was married, I one time asked my husband to spank me, and he kind of freaked out. He didn't know what to do with it. I felt such shame. We were married 12 more years. I never asked for anything else sexy, right? It's terrible. I don't want that for people.
Right.
But I suggest that people, when your partner suggests something and the other partner says, "Oh, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard," I say, "Celebrate. Yes, that's crazy. Oh my gosh, I win." Right. And then your partner has to think of something more crazy. And you don't necessarily have to do everything you think of.
Right.
But it helps to be able to get it out there and to laugh again with somebody, not at someone.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Those are wonderful pointers. Thanks so much for sharing them.
Yeah.
So, where do people find you? I mean, I will put the links, but what's the website? Where can people follow you?
Darlingway.com and is the website for the shop, and you can find the book on there. The social media, it's Facebook is Darling Way Boutique, Instagram, Darling Way Boutique. Boy, you'd think I'd have these right off the top.
That's okay.
I get so excited. This is that ADHD. I get so excited talking about all this stuff that I forget the details, right?
And what's the radio show?
The radio show is Love and Laughter with Beth, and that's loveandlaughterwithbeth.com or Twitter, Love Laugh Beth. And they can find it as a podcast too on iTunes.
Oh, okay.
They can listen anytime, and that's kind of fun. And I've talked about everything from professional dominatrixes to a porn star to about sex addiction and stuff. I say, I just don't want to be afraid to tackle any of this stuff. And again, sharing our love stories helps everybody, I think. So
great. Well, thanks so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much. It's so much fun. Thanks for putting up with my enthusiastic approach to love.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Better Sex. Please visit our website, bettersexpodcast.com, for show notes and additional episodes.
And that's a wrap for today. I really hope you enjoyed the episode. If you are enjoying the podcast, if some of this material resonates with you and you would like to make a difference and make sure that this keeps coming out in the world once a week, ongoing, there are a couple things you could do to show your appreciation. The first would be to go to iTunes and rate and review the show. That really helps us be found by new listeners when you review the show on iTunes. You can find a link at bettersexpodcast.com/iTunes. The other thing I want to invite you to consider is becoming a Patreon. For a small monthly pledge, you get some benefits. So for $2 a month, you get advance access to every single episode. For $5 a month, you get a chapter of my upcoming new book. And for $10 a month, I host quarterly get-to-know-you and question and answer chats over the web, and you get invited to that. I would love to have your membership in that, become part of the Better Sex family. You can find a link at bettersexpodcast.com/Patreon, which is Patreon. Again, thanks for listening. I'm glad you're here. Feel free to comment, ask questions, get in touch. I'd love to hear from listeners. Thanks.